Hello, and welcome to 70 Years of 70 Muppets, More Muppets Please, a Muppet fan podcast presented by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where we celebrate the Muppets' 70th anniversary with a series of spotlights on our favorite Muppet characters, from fan favorites to the most obscure. I am this week's host, Laura Frazier, and our Muppet of the Week is Jojo the dog. She's performed by both Camille Benara and, for the live-action shots, the real-life good boy she was modeled from, Bamboo. Jojo was designed and built by Raleigh Cruson, Ed Christie, and Tom Newby in 1989. She made her debut in the Jim Henson Hour episode Secrets of the Muppets as our every dog, a bright and curious little pup asking Mr. H all the questions our little kid hearts desired. At least for me. She was me. I love this dog more than maybe anyone else. I never understood, once I understood what the Jim Henson Hour was when I was older, how the show didn't do as well as it should have. People weren't ready for that genius once again. Picture it. North Carolina, Sunday night in late November, 1992. You are 7 years old, and your lovely mother assures you, as she shows you the VCRs all set to record this week's Sunday Night Muppets. No one is going to mess with it. Dad's not going to change the channel. It will automatically switch to channel 29 and record this week's episode, which she will erroneously write in pencil on the label tomorrow morning as Muppet's Secret, which is what I called it for the next decade before the internet came along. She's taping it, like all Sunday Night Muppet specials they're putting on, because it's 9 p.m., aka past your bedtime. So like the good little angel you are, you brush your teeth, you get ready for bed. But when Mom closes your door, you're met with the sight of Jim Henson, who you still can't really believe is gone. Surrounded by Muppets in a poster you received with the Storytime binders your mom has subscribed to for you. Jim's in the middle, smiling broadly. Sprocket to his upper left, Wembley Fraggle below him. Gonzo's hanging upside down because it's Gonzo. You just can't wait. But you do sleep for a few hours, and it's been so long I don't recall how or with what I did get up with. Maybe a watch alarm. I still have a very obnoxious digital watch that my pop-pop gave me for Christmas, but I'm almost sure that it was later than 92, if I'm maybe that next month. And the alarm was a rooster that probably would have woken up the whole house, so I don't think that was it. But anyway, it's now 2 a.m. Mom and Dad are asleep. My room is the closest to the living room, so I can easily sneak out, lower the volume on the TV after setting it to the alt channel, remember those, and patiently waiting for the tape to rewind before The Secret of the Muppets. Lit only by the glow of the television, I sit on the coffee table, hands clutched at the side. I am not missing a single thing. We open with Digit, one of my other favorite Jim Henson Hour exclusive Muppets. One of the oddest looking Muppets with a capital M we have ever got the glory to see, frantically playing a wholesome entertainment clip, which turns out to be the Muppet Show opening. But from the look of Muppet Central, the TV studio surrounding Digit, it's hardly the same show as the old standard. Digit panics and yells for Kermit, running away. Kermit comes along, lamenting that he was rather enjoying that clip, and keeps singing along while the Jim Henson Hour theme starts. Now, I can only describe the opening credit as insane, especially to my little kid brain at the time. Overwhelmed, inundated with the majesty and fantasy of this brand new innovative effect of computer graphics. My dad was a computer guy, and he had even brought home a laptop from school, so I was pretty hip to the groove as a little kid, but this was like unlike anything I'd ever seen. That bird guy holding the orb, what was his deal? Would we see more of him? Was he like some kind of all-knowing mystical storyteller that we would meet later? My silly, childish, linear thinking. Oh well. But damn, he looked majestic in that opener. The gorgeous tornado whirls of Muppets, and as we will soon see, set pieces that descend into the CGI of Jim's office, museum, living room. There's a lot going on here. Fully immersed in imaginative mode here. The swirly tornado sunset sky of the opening is still in the background, in the open-air cathedral where a white lion lounges on a white slab, very New York City Library in front of him. And Jim descends from nowhere on floating steps. Rewatching this episode, I had forgotten what an amazing, effortless host he is. Of course, I completely took that for granted as a kid. To me, this was just Jim Henson. Very cool teacher, showing us all the behind scenes of his creations we wanted to see. Being an adult now, seeing so many other interviews with him, reading Brian J. Jones's amazing biography, the work that he put in appears so effortless on this show. It's really incredible. Not that he wasn't a good host or an interview before, but he seems really relaxed, and especially with Jojo and the Lion. It's a real damn shame that we did not get more of these episodes and more Jim this way, of course. But here's our real star. It's the one and only Jojo the dog. Adorable kid, this one. She brings Jim his evening paper, reminds him that she's the handyman, or dog, rather. She's supposed to leave at 5, but what if something went wrong?
On show days, I stay late. What if something went wrong with the show?
Like, for instance, a dog comes running onto the set just as we're beginning.
Did I miss something there, sir? Was there a tone of wit or irony?
That was the moment I absolutely fell in love with her. The moment she realizes that Jim is teasing her and she teases right back. How could you, sir? Am I not just doing my job? Is she not the best little intern anyone could ever want? She asks exactly what we all want to know. What the episode is all about. How do the Muppets work? Cue a montage with one of my favorite pop Muppet songs freaking ever. The music keeps rolling along by Solid Foam. Jim checks in with Kermit to see if he's cool with that, and of course it is. Gonzo reveals a secret, but I'll just let you watch the episode to find out. Peak 80s midlife crisis Gonzo here. We go back to Jim Henson's mythical museum office, and Jojo is like many of us, overwhelmed by even where to start. The room that they're currently in is a great place, and I love the meta in this episode, which Muppets have always had one hand in the fantasy and one eye on the fourth wall. Clearly, Jojo can see the room as it exists, and when Jim snaps his fingers and takes the effect away, quote unquote, now she sees the blue. And the lion hates it when Jim does that. No kidding, I prefer the other two. Jojo's always addressing us, the audience, just like Jim does. Her calling him Mr. H and Sir always struck me as so cute. The respect for the boss, but also a lovely familiarity of a lovely, lovely man. Jojo wants to know more about the puppets, and we get to my favorite Jojo segment, the making of her. And we get to see the other gorgeous doggos too, who didn't make it to the finals. To this day, I have always wanted a border terrier because of this little inquisitive head tilting dog, just back and forth. Jojo was built by Ed Christie and our queen of the workshop, Rolly Cruson. Seeing the setup of these 8x11 printed pages of photographs to make the life-size photo of Bamboo really makes you appreciate their hard work for this little dog. Wikipedia, not Muppetpedia, incorrectly lists Bamboo's breed as Karen Terrier, but that's Toto's breed from Wizard of Oz, not Jojo. I've actually never seen another dog like Jojo or Bamboo before, and judging by the London footage with the dog they found to play her, who was much bigger and curlier and darker fur, they're not exactly easy to find, at least with Bamboo's coloring. Bamboo might be a Brayard or Tibetan Terrier, which looks very similar to Benji, my 80s babies. Though the original Benji was actually a mutt from a rescue in Burbank. As Jem demonstrates a simple handrod puppet, Jojo watches from below, her little ears lifting and moving. I have to hand it to Camille with her attention to detail and Jojo's tiny movement, especially with the ears, of course, in what has to be an awkward position, controlling a mid-sized dog lounging on your boss. We see the Viking number from the Muppet Show, the footage from the documentary of Muppets and Men, Blessings of the Frog onto YouTube, where we can find almost anything Muppet related, whether it's behind the scenes or early Jim Henson commercials, including this episode, which only aired on Nickelodeon and the CBC in Canada the previous year, and not in the original run of Jim Henson Hour. Jem and Jojo travel by tape edit, but it still requires her to wear an embarrassing leash to the New York office, and then we get to see Bamboo being a good boy on said leash. What a gorgeous dog. Jojo roams around the workshop with Jim checking out a bionic puppet and barks at a few cat puppets, and nearly eats a puppet sandwich, which Jem demonstrates. For some reason, the way that Jojo goes after the sandwich, I really love. It's so dog lifelike, I forgot that it's actually Jojo the puppet and not the real dog Bamboo. Over in London, we get a larger golden retriever English version of Jojo who doesn't feel like herself. Jim tells her that's because they had to hire a different dog and she'll feel better in the close ups. This is the meta that we've all come to love and appreciate from the Muppets, but this really informed my humor as a kid. Rewatching this, I never realized how much of it came from this particular episode.
Oh, Jojo, you should know enough not to be frightened by big puppets.
That wasn't me, sir. That was the English me.
Okay.
As Jim and Jojo leave, Dog from Storyteller stops Jojo, inviting her to the OMD. No, not in orchestral movements in the dark concert. The Organization of Muppet Dogs. Ralph is the president, of course, and we see a bunch of Muppet dogs there. Sadly, a member she may officially be. And please, someone prove me wrong. But like the other members in this meeting, we don't see Jojo again for future projects. I want to give a special little shout out to whoever was performing Fufu at the meeting. She's laying on a table, face down in a dog bowl, and eating the whole time. She just stops to turn back and agree with Rolf on his points. I just think it's hilarious. Back with the White Lion at the mystical office space, Jim explains television tricks and editing to Jojo, who finally thinks she's getting this all figured out, only to be proven wrong once again. More secrets to be revealed. Doozers are explained. Gorgs are shown. Good time Goomba soup is made. The transitions in this special are a lot better than my own, to be sure. Jojo always struck me as the kid who was eager to prove how smart she was to an adult who was entertained by her curiosity, which was also just me. Finally, the big question is asked, how do Muppets ride bicycles? Jojo's little ears continue to tickle me to no end. Anyone who has ever owned a dog with expressive little ears can relate. Her eyebrows, too, lifting over those dark eyes as Jim talks about John Hurt's prosthetics from Storyteller. Another banger of a theme, and John is transformed into, it's basically a hobbit. Just look at that guy. Now, Jim saying that prosthetics are like half a puppet, I don't really agree with. It's more makeup stuff, but I'm not going to argue with the boss. Now we get to the last portion of the show, and the puppeteers are revealed. Camille is introduced, and her big black eyes mirror Jojo's confusion with seeing each other for the first time.
Do you believe it? I never noticed her before.
As a kid, and as a grown woman, Camille is beautiful. She always looked like a Disney princess to me. And her voice for Jojo is that perfect little kid blend of curiosity and eagerness that so many of us relate to. Scrappy, curious, a little sardonic in a way that comedic little kid me aspired to. The Jim Henson Hour meant so much to me as a kid because it was only this episode. This was all I had access to, but full of promise of clips of previous episodes and moments that I might never get to see. Only imagine what they were. Maybe a book one day might tell me. Maybe I could find some VHSs somewhere. In 1992, the limitations were strict. I never, ever thought as a little kid that we would be granted everything Jim ever touched on a singular website. But I was curious, like Jojo. I wanted to know more. Jojo was the cooler, but still nerdy, wittier dog version of me that I wanted to be, who got to work on the Jim Henson Hour and hang around Mr. H all day. And that's the doggone life.
70 Years, 70 Muppets, More Muppets Please is a Muppet fan podcast presented by toughpigs.com. Hosted by a myriad of people and edited by them as well. Produced by Joe Hennis. The Muppets 70 logo is used with permission by the Muppet Studio, with thanks to Danny Iglesias, Frank Reifschneider, and Lee Slaughter. Don't forget to follow toughpigs.com on all social media platforms, and you can support us by heading to patreon.com/toughpigs or by buying merchandise at tpublic.com/toughpigs.